let's move on over to the map where we left off last time. And you might recall that you had started to explore this mostly natural cavern, but when you took a turn around one of the corners, you stumbled upon a door, which you were able to unlock and enter another sort of, man-made structure. And in here, you encountered a drow, a blue purplish skinned elf like creature with white hair that had clearly been watching you as you were fighting your battle in the fungi infested cavern. And as you enter, it steps into the doorway of the little guard chamber that it was in, and it speaks out in what sounds almost perfectly like Elven. Maybe it has a little bit of an odd accent to it, but the words are all traditional Elven. And it says, well, not bad. Not bad at all. I see you were able to hold up quite well in the fight. Surface dwellers, Well, I think Guara might have some use for you. If, that is, you're willing to indulge her.
Well,
What's he saying?
What's that?
Ottardo is asking, what's he saying?
Oh.
well, someone like tries to like quietly think, like they seem to be welcoming us. Wait a second, I think I can talk to them. They look friendly. And in that case, she will turn back to the drow and try to make a very friendly face herself. She like smiles, spread her hands, clasp like them, and be all like, "Oh, why? Sure, of course. Why not? Let's have a good talk. I mean, my friend, you are probably the first creature in this godforsaken dungeon who didn't try to gut us, eat us, or explode at us. Like, you can't believe how happy I am to see you." Yeah, some words probably never spoken at Ottardo before, but okay.
All right, let's see how you're conveying that.
Hero point.
Yes. I see.
There we go. Yeah, there.
That's a very wise choice, I would say. Um, she seems to be a she, first of all, and she laughs at your comment, and she says, "Who says I don't want to eat you? But I totally understand the sentiment. The these parts have been just teeming recently. Something has changed. Something is stirring up all the denizens of this of these caverns and beyond. And I think that is most likely what Quara might be interested in talking to you about. Let's see. Well, I don't think that anything here is gonna need my attention anytime soon, now that you took care of most of the dangers in the cavern beyond. I think it is safe for me to walk you down to Ildaris and introduce you. That way, nobody's going to try to gut you on your way there. So, Shall we go right now?
Someone will raise the finger, turn turn back, and over Sandy's shoulder, she will like stage whisper to Sir Ottardo, like, "They're going to take us to their leader."
Okay.
You mean someone's actually in charge down here?
So well, someone will shrug and say, "Well, apparently, it's probably not Bilcora though."
I mean, okay. Seems like that'll make things a lot easier.
Yeah, she will turn back, switching back to Elven, and saying, "Well, very well, then lead the way. My friend seems to be amicable to this suggestion, and hopefully we will have a very productive conversation." And she will smile again.
What's its name?
And she will
Can't tell from back here. Is it
she will immediately translate it. So like, how should we address you?
Oh, you may call me Iribo, she says, and makes a polite little bow. And then she says,
I was muted. Sorry. I was going to say that Soma mirrors the gesture, saying and introduces yourself. So like, yeah, and you may call me Soma. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm Sandy, and he curtsies.
Bark.
and she looks at you all and just smiles politely, but clearly doesn't really understand the words, just the intention, and nods politely. But she doesn't seem to be particularly interested in your names at all, actually.
That makes sense.
And she just kind of waves you over to follow her, and she keeps on walking all the way over here, where, hang on.
Should we be trusting these people? I mean,
It's always nice to make a new friend.
sure.
Okay. And you see those that giant boulder that's blocking the passage here, with those carvings on it that look like spider shapes of some kind. And you see her like trace her hand along some of these carvings and touching the boulder in various spots and seemingly very intentional. And as she does so, when she's done, the whole boulder swings to the side, and turns out that it's actually been pretty cleverly hinged in a way that would allow it to open so easily. And she walks further into the cavern, and if you follow her along, and maybe you should all just follow her so we can do this. You enter the next chamber here, which has these faintly glowing green veins of crystal lining the walls. And to the south, there's a wider passage that opens up. It almost looks like some massive burrowing creature has dug through the earth and rock here. The slick green veins on the walls crackle with faint electricity every now and then, but it doesn't seem to be particularly dangerous, at least from best you can tell. And the chamber is occupied by 4 more of these blue-skinned elven drow, as they are apparently called. They're all decked out in hunting gear, bows, arrows, supplies, and they seem to be just kind of resting here. And as Iribo enters, they look over. She nods to them and then says in Elven, "We have some guests here for Quara. I'll take them down." And then a couple of them motion to join you, and she says, No, it's fine. They're harmless." And she continues to guide you through this chamber. And then south. And here we're gonna switch on over to another map.
Oh.
Hang on.
As we're walking, Bark offers her some fruit.
And she looks at you and gets your intention, even if he doesn't understand the words, and she nods, smiles, grabs one of those pieces, like looks at it curiously, because I would assume it's surface dweller looking food. And she
Magic
smells it.
fruit.
Mm-hmm. And she mouths the words magic fruit.
Oh, sorry. Magico.
Magic. And then she takes a bite. It's like, yeah, it makes a little bit of a face. Maybe it is too intense in flavor for her, but she's trying to be polite here. All right, let me move everyone over. Sandy, Ottardo, Bark, Soma, and Stick, of course. And I forgot Uribo as your guide. Okay. You should all be here now. Yeah, so the passage continues to wind quite a bit further down, and then turns around another corner. And there's another drow that is sitting on a stool, carving what looks like a bit of fungus wood with a small carving knife. And as Iribo arrives, the other drow looks up and just nods. And Iribo says, I guess for Quara, and leads you past the drow. And she like continues carving that wood, watching you walk by, like looking curiously at you, but not saying anything, just giving you a little bit of an interested side eye.
Where do you even get wood down here? What kind of wood is that?
Yeah, you would recognize it as fungus.
Oh, fungus wood.
Yeah.
Eh.
All right, and then finally you reach this gate here. Further to the south, it looks like the tunnel just comes to a rocky end, where it just looks like it has collapsed. There's a ton of gravel and rock and rubble. But to the east, there is a reinforced iron sheet. Actually, multiple iron sheets that cover a door, it looks like, with a slot at eye level of a drow. And you don't see a keyhole or a handle. And as Eribo walks up, she starts knocking on it in like a particular rhythm, like tuk 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 tuk. Pretty elaborate rhythm. And then finally, the little hatch in the door slides open. You see two drow-looking eyes peer out, and then slides shut again, and the door opens up, and a drow warden allows you to enter. Once again, like eyeing you curiously, and Iribo just nods in passing, opens up the next door, and leads you into a chamber with a table and some chairs sitting in the northeast corner. On the walls, there are words carved in flowing script that are underscored with hash marks. And there are 4 doors leading out of this room. The door to the west, the one that you came in through, is sturdier than the others and reinforced. And there are 3 more doors leading out of here. But also, there are 4 drow in here. Some of them sitting at the table playing what looks like a version uh, of Towers, a popular game played with a hero deck. And there's a couple of stacks of coins on the table, and one of the players is quite familiar to you. It is the drow that you had saved on one of the upper levels from the larder of the Warped Blue Tavern. And you even recognize the bow hanging from the chair that he's sitting on. And as you enter, he pushes back his chair and he seems surprised to see you. And he goes, in Elven, he says, "Oh, what a surprise to see you here." And then he like positions himself between the bow and the party, like kind of hiding it behind his back.
Yeah.
I never really got to thank you for getting me out of that little bind up there. It's great to see you here.
Yeah, and at this point, Soma also she will elbow Sir Ottardo, like, and assuming that he will probably also recognize the guy. And I think we only told Bark and Sandy about him, so
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well-
yeah.
yeah. So we'll also like again like make make a very make a very happy face and saying, "Oh hey man, like it's," and switching to Elvish again, like so it's great to see that you survived, man. It's we were worrying how you going how you could get how your travel back were going to be. By the way, like if it bothers you, we like killed all those motherfuckers that held you back there, and then the guy who also collected hands as well. So so you're all good. Cheryl gives him a thumbs up.
And he laughs and he says, "I expected nothing less of you." And then he like gestures towards the two of you and the rest of the group, and he speaks to the rest of the drow that are present. He says, These two here, I know them. You remember what I told you, that group of surface dwellers that got me out of that little sticky situation? That's them. Actually, I mean, most of them. It looks like they have picked up some new friends, but these two I can vouch for sure. They're good. They're good people. Good people for surface dwellers, at least. Come on, sit down, play around with us. And then Iribo says, Lord Falxie, I don't think that's and she seems to be a little not intimidated, but like a little respectful of Falxie for some reason, and careful in choosing her words. And she says, we were actually trying to talk to Quara, and he says, "Oh, come on, my cousin can wait a little bit. Let's play a hand or two." And Iribo,
Yeah, Sandy.
yeah, Iribo
Sandy
looks
was
at you
already
like,
sitting down.
yeah. All right.
Yeah, if it's okay,
Anyone else to deal in?
I suppose it'd be rude
Ottardo
if some of us.
doesn't understand what is happening.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I see cards. I know cards. I don't have to speak their language to, make them
Yeah, I
fold a
think-
few hands.
And the body language was pretty clear, right? Like pushing pulling out a chair for you and gesturing for you to sit down and stuff. So the invitation is pretty clear.
I'm not very big on card games, but I think Stick would like to play.
Oh, look at that. Soon as the tiny little ranch pulls himself up on the table, the drows cackle. And
Oh, he's good. He's gonna take your money. Be careful.
they deal the two of you in, and don't have a full mini game prepared here.
Yeah.
You also you're not really too familiar with the rules here, so
That's okay. Card-based mini games are overrated.
We played some in Anthony's game last time.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Was it fun or was it like overly mechanical?
They take time.
Both.
Nice.
It was fun, but it was lacking in a little bit of logic.
Okay, gotcha. I think we're gonna keep this simple here. We're gonna make this opposed wisdom checks essentially. And since you are new to this game, I'm going to give you a -1 to your checks.
Sounds
So
good.
Stick and Sandy just roll straight up wisdom, and I'll have the two drow rolls wisdom as well. Soma, do I see you pulling up a chair as well?
Yes.
Okay.
She will also like make some oi.
Wow. Okay. Foxy seems to be letting you win here. Might be hustling you though.
How do you do a straight up wisdom again? Why don't I know how to do that?
I think you just click wisdom on your sheet. We rarely do just raw ability
No,
checks.
I think Stick actually does not have.
Does not have
The
a
wisdom.
He has a will save. He has a perception check.
Let's see.
He doesn't have actual ability scores. Interesting.
I think he has a +3. It looks like his minimum attribute modifier is +3.
Is it possible that he just uses yours?
I don't know. I have no idea. He has.
I'm gonna-
he has his own will save, but he doesn't.
Okay,
have,
but for
like...
simplicity's sake, I'm gonna have it use yours here.
Okay, fine.
I cannot like I see the attribute modifiers, but I don't know where to click. This is crazy.
They don't seem to be clickable.
Yeah, can you just click on the modifier itself?
No, it won't let me click it.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't just roll.
Interesting.
I'll just roll the number.
Yeah, then just roll a d20 plus
Yeah,
that.
Okay, yeah.
I think it might be that mechanically there's nothing that calls for it in the game, so I guess they didn't bother to implement it.
I guess so. But on the NPC sheets, it's an macro, so whatever. Okay, let's see. So we have a 1, we have a 13, a 15, and a 16. Okay, so the first round, one of the drow takes the pot. Although Sandy was picking it up pretty quickly. And Foxy just completely fails at his with his hand, loses quite a stack of coins that was in front of him. But he
Stick throws in a few acorns into the pot.
But he shrugs it off. He seems to be good humored about it, and he says, "Come on, let's do one more." One more?
Yeah, go for it.
It's only polite.
You got it.
All right, so ante up, and let's do one more hand here.
Wow. Okay. That's all right, buddy. This just isn't your game. It's all right.
And Foxy once again loses. Soma, you're picking up on the rules and the little moves pretty quickly, but that other drow just very quietly and methodically wins the pot once again.
Well, he's in the zone apparently, or he's cheating.
Who
Or
knows?
the other one is.
Yeah, that's it. Soma, accuse him of cheating.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
You're
Listen, you were just
Flip the
guests
table.
here. It'd be rude.
Stick tries to flip the table.
Oh, they're like a little bit of leverage, maybe. Anyway, at that point, Rebo is like, excuse me, Lord Foxy, but I think the surface dwellers are at this point quarters, waiting for them. I sent word ahead of our arrival, and I think we shouldn't let her. And Foxy goes, yeah, it's okay. We can play another hand later. Looks like I'm out anyway. And that's that. So let's see.
Sorry guys,
had
for
to-
Stick. He's a bit of a sore loser.
Let's see how each one of you played. So this is going to be silver coins. So that's 4 silver coins in the first hand and 3 silver coins in the second hand that everyone needs to pay into the pot. All right. And then Iribo politely bows to Foxy and then opens up the doors over here and leads you through it into a hallway that continues for quite some time. And then she opens up another set of doors, leads you into a quite spacious chamber. It's a massive chamber with a high vaulted ceiling. At the center there's a small forge, an anvil, and a work table with various tools. And there are a few benches lining the wall. So this is clearly both the smithy workroom, but also a kind of meeting hall, clearly. And as you enter, hang on here, I'm trying to get my fingers right here. Where is Quara? Is she not on the map yet? Sorry. I guess I didn't put her on here. There she is. So she steps out of as you enter, and Iribo goes and fetches her. The two of them come into the room from this door down here, and she strides up to you with like confidence and even a little bit of swagger almost. She seems to be quite confident, quite charismatic, quite the personality. You can immediately sense that. And to your surprise, she addresses you in common. She says, "So these are the surface dwellers, huh? Well, I've heard a lot about you. We've had our eyes on you for quite some time. We honestly didn't expect you would make it this far, but you have. Quite impressive. I'm sure you have many stories to tell." "Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce myself. The name?" she says, and then she does a little theatrical bow and says, "The name's Quara Orshendil, and I'm something of the leader of this bunch here in Ildaris." And she makes a sweeping gesture to everything around her.
Well, pleased to meet you. I'm Ottardo.
Yeah, Souma also will try to copy the same bow that what's her name, that Iribo gave to our old friend, like saying, well, I am Souma Iron-Tongue, so, it's a pleasure to meet you. Yeah.
Bark, stick.
Sandy.
Well, pleased to meet you all. And then she turns to Iribo, and in Elven she says, "Iribo, please fetch Selisa and the twins." And Iribo nods and walks off. And then she says, "I need you to, I want you to meet a few more of my folk. You've never really met any of your kind, I have to admit." And she looks you up and down curiously, and says, "Are you all? You're not all human, are you?"
Well, you see, they are, but I'm actually a Shuni.
A Shuni? Huh. Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of your kind. Are you surface dweller too?
Yeah, sure. Most of the time.
Interesting. And you, she turns to Soma. Why does your skin have this green tint?
Like
Very point blank about it.
Yeah, no, Soma like almost like waited this question, and she will like pop her chest and says, "Why? I mean, that is because I'm proud of Iraqan blood. Like now, our our village for quite some time now cultivates strength of both human and orc lineages. We are both crafty as humans and strong as orcs. So
Wait. So you're not a human?
what? Well, wait, no, not no, like. Well, technically, okay, I'm somewhat of a human, but my mama was a half-orc, my papa was a half-orc, so I don't know how you call it. I'm a Verakan, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. See, you're all the
It's
same
okay.
color to me.
Well, okay, I will tell you later. Okay, it's a very interesting story.
What do you mean we're all the same color?
Well, you all look kind of the same shade of gray.
Dogs don't see color.
Well, that must be a bit inconvenient.
Well, Quara says diplomatically, at the very least, you're not nearly as ugly that our art makes you out your kind out to be. Well, I see that. Here they are. She says, as there's like a pair of identical-looking drow dressed in these like hooded robes come into the room through one of the western doors, and through the door over here, a an armored, very military officer looking drow woman enters and marches right up to Quara, and like with a very snappy little bow and a little salute says, "Quara, you called?" And Quara says, "Yes, Elisa. Yes, I want you here. I was just about to start explaining things." And the twins that are standing on the other side here, they just quietly look at you from under their hoods. And then Quara says, "All right, so let's figure out whether or not we can help one another, shall we? So I guess let me start by saying thank you for rescuing my cousin from one of the scrapes he keeps getting himself into. He's a little bit of an unlucky fella in that regard, but I'm glad that he's back with us. So the thing is, our seers," she says, and like gestures over to the twins, "have foretold that surface dwellers would come to us as potential allies. And I would like to believe that. So, let me tell you our story. Sorry. But first, I want to hear your story before I share ours. How did you find your way into the depth down here? We've watched you and make your way through the cavern above the here, but we don't know why you showed up and where you came from. So I'm curious."
All began when I was a wee pup. You see, I was
Yeah.
actually a run-sucker litter.
Yeah, my out of game brain says that's probably not wise to tell Drow where we came from, but Soma doesn't know that. Well, I suppose Soma will flex her bardic skill in this case and like take a deep breath and start spinning a very good tale on that. So, for sake of my conscience, she will try to not specify about the town of Ottardo above, but she will say that, well, the upstairs is a cursed lighthouse, which starts shooting the undead beams all over the place, and as an adventurers, we decided that it is our solemn duty to clean out the various nonsense that hides inside there. And then we found there all the tiny blue mice who tried to take over the world in their stupid plans. Then we found exploding maggots. Then we found exploding flash warps. Then we found exploding. What's their word? Morlocks. Yeah, Morlocks. Then we found the undead who tried to eat us. Then we found the guy with worms, made out of worms, who tried to eat us. By the way, he seemed to look somewhat like your complexion. Maybe he was also like a drow like you. Uh, then, of course there were like some sort of terrible flesh warp abomination that I really have hard time remembering. It was awful. And then there was the level full of devils that were bound by Belcora to serve her, and they were left there to rot forever. One of them was bound to lick the whole level with his tongue for centuries. Can you imagine that? Oh, yeah. And
Right.
and then one thing led to another, and we found a huge mushroom forest with a giant spider. Ugh. By the way, we killed the spider. It's safe to go out now.
All right. Do you have a perform? Wait, do you still need separate perform checks depending on the kind of performance?
I don't think they do. They split it by
But
class anymore.
I think the way it is now is that it's a single skill, but you can have different extra +1s or +2s to the
Gotcha.
each specialty.
Okay, so this would be an oratory most likely, unless you composed a ballad on the spot.
Soma doesn't really like improvising ballads.
Yeah. All right. So let's see a perform roll.
Don't fuck me up here.
Not bad. Not bad at all. So as you tell your story, and I would assume that you actually go into obviously much more detail than the quick version that we just listened to, and like you talk about the victories and failures and the allies you've lost and gained along the way, and Quara is with you all the way. Like she's into it. She's like her eyes go wide when you tell a particularly tense part of your journey, and she laughs when there's something funny. She's concerned when hardships are happening, and you really like I said, you really bring her along for the journey. And then when you finally end on the fact that the cavern and the is a little safer now that the spider has been slain, Kuara says or starts applauding, and she says, well done, well done. That is a story well told. And if half of that is true, then you are indeed quite capable. I'm impressed. I really am. And then she looks over to her officer or general here on the side, who almost imperceptibly nods. And she looks over to the twins that just kind of lurk there, that have hardly even moved during the entire time Soma was telling her story. And you don't really notice a reaction by them, but Quara seems to feel reassured. And she sighs and she says, okay, I believe you've been truthful with me, so I'm going to be truthful with you. Ildar only exists at Belcora's pleasure. It was here when she first created her vast dungeons that you have traveled through, and at the time, my grandfather was its leader. Belcora made allies of several groups, including Drow, but also Erdefans to the west and deep gnomes above, who have embraced undeath. You've seen them. You've slain them. She called her children. Anyway, to each she gave a large magical lens with strange powers. For safekeeping, I believe. Ours was the ochre fulcrum lens, as she calls them, and it could manipulate emotions. But there was more to the lens. My grandfather told my father, Larathals, who became Ilderis's leader after him, But my father never told me. And then she sighs. I was never meant to lead. My older sister was to succeed my father. They both embarked on a secret expedition a few years ago on an island in the Great Lake. The Urdefon warlord Kerfell caught and killed them. The expedition had something to do with the lens, I believe, and I suspect my father had it with him. Perhaps he hid it someplace, perhaps Kerfell took it. I don't know. Belcora came to me as a ghost shortly afterward. She insisted I swear Ildaris' support and aid in a surface invasion that drives her even in death. For the good of Ildaris, I renewed the vows, and she makes like air quotes, my grandfather made, but I've never felt bound by mere words. I won't help her. I'll help you. You're welcome in Ildaris as long as you'd like. And she pauses a little bit.
Well, that's good to hear. I was sort of worried we were walking into a trap, but that's refreshing to know you're not actually on her side.
Oh, this was a trap. You'd already be dead, she says, somewhat jokingly.
That's fine.
And then all of a sudden, one of the twins speak up. And it's kind of weird when they speak because they both move their mouths at the same time. So it's kind of hard to tell which one of them is speaking, but only one of them is actually making a sound. So, there is more, one of the twins says. You should know, the other twin continues. And then they kind of like go back and forth like that. And then Quara seems to be surprised by that. And she like looks over to them and says, Is there? Well, please continue, she says, and she seems somewhat annoyed by it almost. And then the twins continue. The ochre lens lies in a dark and wet place. Kerfell didn't claim it. Larothal's dropped it in the water to deny it to his enemy. He died attempting to learn more of its purpose. More than the partial truth we know, one twin says. We have seen in a vision that the stones both empower the Ghost Queen and hold the key to her demise. They are slivers of something ancient, alien, evil, and hungry, the other continues. And then both of them cry out in unison, We saw eyes of empty death! She separated the lenses because together they draw the baleful attention of the empty death. Even the Ghost Queen cannot withstand the empty death when their powers are joined within her. The secrets to the lenses are in the old treasure vault, which overlooks the lake. Find the lenses and the answers Larathal sought. And then they fall silent and they kind of like almost slump as if something that had animated them is now gone. And Quara looks at them, raises an eyebrow, and she looks back at you and she says, I would say you get used to Bassarat and Clather here, but one never does. Well, let me assure you that when they do speak, it's important. So this is all news to me, but when their words benefit Ildaris, and you as well.
Yeah, Soma like she gives the twins like a side eye, trying not to look at them and look at their host at the same time, like so, and she will like try to not to sound too spooked. She will say, "Well, I mean, not gonna lie, like we kind of hoped that we will just have to stab Belcora until she stops moving and everything will be done, but well, if there's now a prophecy, I guess we will have to just go and check it out then, right?"
Yeah, well, she was immensely powerful the few times she appeared to us, so I guess that would be best.
Yes, when she appeared to me, she was quite the presence. That was the only reason why I would even make that kind of commitment to her. I do not think that we would stand a chance at defeating her in hand-to-hand combat. And besides, she's a ghost. They have a tendency to just come back if you try to destroy them. So unless you can somehow truly end her.
Well, I mean,
I'm
in the past month, I had a massively strong urge to just fill this whole lighthouse with alchemist fire and set it on fire, because if the ghost haunts this place, maybe if we got rid of the place, it will go away. Well, nowadays I of course understand this was a bit of a silly suggestion. But
yes,
these dungeons need a cleansing fire.
Yes, this place runs deep and wide. I don't think that you could start a fire that would consume it all.
I'm sure Lucca could have.
Who? She says.
Well, I think we told her about the Lucca, right?
Oh, right, your companion.
Yeah.
Well, but he's not with us, so... Anyway, I suggest you take one of our rooms and think it through, and let us know what you decide as your next actions. You're guests of Vildaris until then, and for as long as you wish.
Are all of these lenses super powerful items? And he like sort of briefly looks towards like wherever we keep all this, whoever's keeping the lens that we have.
I think Soma still has it in the in those in Lucca's sleeves.
I don't know, Krara says. I barely know what our lens was able to do, and I only know the beginning of it. But I know that all of them have strange powers.
Huh. All right.
All right, Iribo, show them a room and then go back to your post. As I've said, you're guests of Vildaris, and you are welcome to stay as long as you like and move around freely. Just make sure that beyond the confines of our chambers, they cannot guarantee your safety. And let me know how you decide to proceed. Until then, welcome. And then she heads on out, bringing Bark with her, apparently.
All right, see you guys. We're going. I'm just following her. Hang on.
All right. And the twins disappear in a chamber that they came from. And the Iribo leads you. Let me see where your room is. 13. Where is it? There we are. Okay. So Iribo leads you through the kitchen. That's right here. Where several fire pits and small ovens with flues bored into the rock walls stand about the chamber. There are dishes and utensils stacked on the central table, a basin of water in one corner with a soapy film across the top, stacks of barrels and crates precariously leaned against the south wall. So quite well equipped kitchen with a lot of provisions. And another set of doors here that open up into a barracks of sorts, or a common area, I guess. It's a large room with several tables, benches, few padded chairs, and the heads of strange creatures stuffed and mounted on the walls. And then around the corner here is a hallway where various chambers branch off, and Ibiro shows you this room and this room, and she says, You're welcome to use these chambers for as long as you like. You're a guest of Vildaris and of Quara personally. I hope you have a pleasant stay. And I look forward to hearing more of your exploits. If you need anything, um, you can hang on. You can ask the quartermaster in the kitchen, and you know where to find Quora once you've made a decision. Farewell. And with that,
Mhm.
she moves down the hallway and goes back to her post.
All right, I think we got to huddle up and talk about this.
Yep.
Well,
From
mean,
my
you guys figured
perspective,
out
it feels like we
gonna-
could trust him.
I'm not too sure, but at least our goals align.
Yeah, and like you said, if they wanted to kill us, we'd already be. At least they'd try to have killed us already, I would imagine.
Well, yeah. In general, I'm very tempted to give at least a credit of trust to people who don't try to immediately stab us, even given the circumstances that we like had to talk our way out of the conflict here. So, but at least these people can be spoken to, they can be bargained with, so that's a great plus in their favor.
They seem
Well, I
to have
think they
better
seem
knowledge
great.
of. What'd you say? Sorry.
I said I think they seem great.
It'll be interesting to see what they want us to do for them. They said, they had visions of us coming down here, but as long as our goals align, I feel like we can't go wrong in helping them necessarily.
Well, as far as I can tell, they're hoping that we retrieve the lenses, so that
They seem to be leading us to this idea. Yes, it's.
Did we ever figure out what the one we have does?
No, we were completely stupefied by it, literally. I think we can try again right now.
Maybe we should, yeah.
Someone will move one of the bed tables to the door, trying to block it for the moment, just in case.
All right, Sandy, do your thing.
All right. He gets out his face paint and acts like he's about to solve the mystery, and then defers to someone.
Yeah. Well, someone will pull that thing out and well, put it before everyone. Hopefully, it will not stupefy everyone now. Will not stupefy anyone but at least now I can cure being stupefied. Okay.
You inspect the object, and as you weigh it in your hands, there's this like weird sensation. It's almost like a whisper at the edge of your perception, and a certain kind of anger that is starting to bubble up inside of you, frustration with the fact that you can't figure out what this thing does, but you feel your emotions kind of you feel yourself responding to this frustration way more furiously than you would normally do. But you can't say what this thing does. But it does have an effect on you.
Soma will brisk in anger, like stand up, turn away, and like take a deep breath after which. Oh, okay, no. If I look deeper, it will fuck my brain again. Like, Birke, can you tell anything? Does it smell of something?
Well, let me have a look-see here. And he leans in close and starts sniffing it all over. What do you want me to do exactly?
Were you trying to identify it?
I guess so.
Yeah, you can do
Might have a high nature.
I think if you roll the identify, does it have an identify macro? No, you can just pick one of the skill checks there.
Yeah, I just clicked on it.
No, there's no identify.
It's the chat.
Right.
So there.
Well, let's see. Let me use my extensive knowledge of the natural world, although it's mostly focused around, trees and sticks and wood and stuff. So I don't know how we'll do it here. Just give it a shot.
Ooh. Well, it sure is mostly centered on those things, but there's hardly anything more primal than rage. And that is the thing that you sense from this object the most. And you're kind of trying to attune yourself to it in a way that helps you understand why or what that rage is doing in there, how you might be able to channel it to actually use the item to give you powers, and you do figure out how to use it. So maybe I forgot to actually describe it to you, maybe you still remember, but it's a concave lens that has a drifting crimson cloud inside of it that almost looks like a slowly swirling blood pool. And you figure out that you can invest into that item and that makes you seethe with malevolent fury that you can barely contain. But it gives you a +2 item bonus to saving throws against fear effects, and a +2 item bonus to your melee strike damage. +4 if you're using a Jaws attack. And then in addition to those constant bonuses, you can activate the item, make a strike while holding it in one hand, and then you deal an additional 1d8 precision damage, or 2d8 if you're making a Jaws strike. And it doesn't even count towards your multiple attack penalty. And another way to use it is while grasping the lens, you make a melee spell attack roll, and on a hit, you force a splinter of the essence that's contained within from the lens to possess the target. And then the target gains the benefits as though it had invested in the lens, but you don't anymore. And it's basically like a possession effect. Yep, so that is how that item works. Quite powerful indeed.
Yeah, that's curious.
Wow.
Anyone
Smells
here?
kind of like Sandy.
Anyone here like to bite things?
Someone will just look at Birke.
What?
Bite things?
What? What are you looking at me like that for? Yeah, it's good for biting. Don't ask me how or why, but this piece of lens thing with the little blood swirl inside is really, really good for biting things. I guess it's also good for not biting things, but it's better for biting things.
I don't think any of us bite things like not in battle, right?
I mean, yeah, I suppose, in battle, fighting. Yeah, I'll try to explain as best he can the strange feeling of rage that emanates from it. And yeah, he's like, to me it seems like it's too dangerous to use. Maybe it could corrupt whoever were to tap into this power of fury and rage and turn them into some sort of biting monster. But that's not for me to decide. So here you go.
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with anger problems for a long time. I went to anger management for a while, and I figured out how to use my rage. I don't know if I could use this item too, but if you can learn to wield it, it's powerful. So I guess our further question is, now we know this is a powerful thing. One, do we tell Quara we have it? And two, do we want to join up with them, or
Well, I mean, we're going to assume that Soma didn't actually told that we looted the lands, okay?
I mean, if you think that's something that you would have kept to yourself.
Yeah, I think it would be one of the things that she probably will not include, just because accounting for all the loot would take too long.
That's true.
So, I suppose it would be prudent to just keep it to ourselves, because as far as I understand from her words, Belcora gave out these lances to other tribes that swore allegiance to her, and well, just because we killed and looted one of those tribes, it's not their business, basically. So, and apparently they want us to bring them their lands. In which case, well, those prophets, they seem to imply something about these things having some sort of extra power that Belcora might be vulnerable to. So it would be in our best interest to actually find the lands and at least keep in mind where we put it. So even if we give the lands to the drow, then we at least can always come back to them and, well, ask about it, I suppose, if we're going to need it to defeat Belcora. Because if they want to be free from her thraldom, then maybe they will allow us to borrow it again.
Speaking of which, anyone know anything about this empty death thing that they kept saying? They were empty death, empty death. We saw the eyes were empty death.
Well, wasn't it that thing that were worshipped by ghouls on the second level? Because I mean, I think we have learned that like empty death was that Nimbaloth thing, right?
Yeah.
What's an Nimbaloth?
Yeah,
but the ghouls were venerating Belcora herself. But you have heard of Nimbaloth at this point, and you know that Nimbaloth was the patron of Belcora in a sense, and is also known as the Empty Death.
Oh, I just thought it was a cool wrestler name.
Yeah, can be both.
You think this is some sort of great power capable of suplexing Belcora and just
well, it's a plex
Sure
Lucca,
sounds
so
like it.
yeah.
Is suplex? Okay,
Well.
so we're gonna join their cause, or I guess we both have the same cause already, but
I suppose so. It seems our path in the line. So I hope nothing explodes at us if we go there. Okay, I'm so tired of this. Maybe we can finally kill something that just bleeds.
Right. Well, I could use a good night's sleep before we tell her we're gung ho for the cause.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's a bit the middle of the day right now. We might go check the kitchen. What's the underground elves cook for dinner?
Yeah, I mean it is getting into the afternoon. You know, you spent a great deal of time at this point, you know, making your way here and then telling your story and having all of this. It takes a lot of time, much longer than it would. Yep. So yeah, but it's afternoon, so if you want to go see if there's a meal for you, or if you want to explore Eldaris a little bit, chat with the locals, you're welcome to do that. So yeah, so let's start with Ottardo. What are you gonna do?
Let me see. I don't think Ottardo has anything in particular he needs to do. I guess he could offer to do a checkup on everyone's equipment if anything needs some patching up. And otherwise he will just... Sorry?
Someone needs some patching up.
Yeah, well, he can do that too. And otherwise, I think it will be just rest and recuperation.
Okay, sounds good. So Souma lets herself get patched up. How about, and then I assume would be looking for a meal. How about Sandy?
Sandy's probably looking for a meal. He's sort of curious about the item. I mean, he had a fascination with it to begin with. He was like kind of obsessed with it. But I think he also goes back and probably plays cards with Foxy or whatever his name is, just because that's what he knows. And you know, place where he can't speak the language, he's just like, I gotta go do something where I at least know the body language, and does that for until he's ready to pass out.
If we are going to rest, I can give Sandy the translate spell for Elvish.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he loves that. And he sees Bouncy as like one of the rich kids that often gets their money taken from them because they don't actually know how to play cards. They just like to socialize. And we'll probably try to go play cards with him again. But he also likes them. Yeah.
Oh, actually, it's
Yeah, you can target up to 10 creatures.
Yeah, it seems that I have several translates running at the same time. Apparently, since it's not concentration.
No, you have it heightened to level 4, so you can target up to 10 creatures.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking that while we were going there, I cast the one for Undercommon, and so I was wondering if they could go concurrently.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, it doesn't say that it would end when you cast another one, so I think that's fine.
Yeah, well, although I think we probably spent already an hour while someone was explaining it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that has anything.
Yeah, so
right,
someone will refresh with an Elven then, since the drow seems to be speaking Elven.
Okay. And finally, Bark, how are you gonna pass the time?
I guess I'm probably gonna go talk to that quartermaster fellow and see if they have any fresh, I guess probably fungal type ingredients down here.
Mm-hmm.
I have some important crafting to do, and I never actually do this because I normally just use the cornucopia, but I have a natural medicine skill that requires fresh ingredients, so I should probably have some on hand.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So, you spend a couple of hours here in Ildaris, and you get to know some of the Drow. They're mostly like they're generally curious about you, surface dwellers, and they might ask questions, and they at times seem to be confused or amused by some of your equipment or some how you do certain things. And definitely by the way that you look. One of the things that is amusing to the quartermaster is the suggestion that somebody would cook for you. He responds basically by saying like, "What did I lose to you, or did you wrestle me down and make me cook for you? No. You make your own meal just like everyone else." So that's one of the things that they do is that everyone just makes their own food. But you're welcome to use the kitchen, which has a lot of fresh ingredients. There's a lot of, yes, fungus ingredients, but there's also like various proteins. A lot of them are insect based, and like little, I don't know, the Darkland cuisine, grubs and things like that. But also very interesting smelling spices and herbs and things like that. So it's not necessarily gross. It's just very, very exotic to you, I would say. Um, you also are invited, um, as you like chat with some of the drow that are here. Well, one of the things you might notice is that quite a few of them carry bows, but an equal number carries hand crossbows. And chatting a little bit about that and about the way that they use it, you notice that they have these fancy looking repeating hand crossbows, and they have a very particular way of using them. And um, they're as curious as they are about you, they're actually quite inviting to teach you some of the things that they know about this. So what this means mechanically is that if you are interested in the drow shootist archetype, you now have access to it.
Oh.
Not sure if anyone really is interested in that at this point, but
I was gonna say that's fun, but I feel like at level 10 it's a little late.
that's what I thought too. But it's a nice touch. It's just them sharing their culture.
Wow.
Yeah. Sandy, yeah, if you want to reconnect with the group that was playing, that's easy enough to do. They happily deal you in, and you can have a fun afternoon of gambling with the gang. And
He implores Bark to let Stick go with him.
Yeah, Stick is 100% going.
okay.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna lose every round though.
All right. So with that, first of all, it's 200 XP for getting to this point
Nice.
for each one of you. And then we're going to just skip ahead to the next morning. And maybe Sandy, maybe you were hoping for like some carousing or, some more rowdy behavior or something like that. Something that you would be familiar with at the Crook's Nook
Yeah.
if somebody would break out a deck of cards. Drow are not that wild. At least this bunch here seems to be, even while killing time gambling, they're quite a disciplined bunch, and it kind of makes sense. They're out here in this sort of outpost surrounded by things that want them dead. It's not the smartest decision to get blackout drunk every night. They, to your disappointment, they seem to be quite disciplined.
Yeah,
And
Sandy tries his best to get them to carouse and go past their discipline edges, but probably doesn't succeed.
yeah. There is also, you notice that some of the drow during the afternoon they leave to go hunting and they come back with some creatures that they've slain, like spiders the size of human children, and other things that end up in the kitchen later in the day. Um, there's also Ottardo in that great chamber. As I said, there's an anvil, and a furnace, or a what's it called, a forge.
For
If you look around, because I would think that you're going to be drawn to something like that. There's essentially the equivalent of a superb repair kit that is available for your use in this room.
okay.
So if you need to do that, this is open to you. Um, and that is basically it. So since none of you said you would explicitly go exploring, I'm assuming that you're going to keep it to the rooms that you have already been shown. And then we're going to go to the next morning, where you're being called into the Great Chamber again, where Quara is waiting for you. And once again, accompanied by her general, who's respectfully standing right behind her. And she says, "So, have you given it some thought? Have you made a decision?"
We have. We will cooperate with you on this.
"Excellent," she says, and she claps her hands. "That is indeed excellent news." And she seems really excited about this, and then says, "Because to be frank, there's a personal favor I would like to add to your list. That Kerfel, that monster of a leader, if you would even want to call him that, he is the one who killed my father and my sister. I want his sword brought to me so I can mount it next to the trophies of the other beasts that we have slain."
Um, what does he look like?
He's one of the Erdefons. You've met them. You told me that you've met
it's
these.
transparent.
It's one of the creatures that, as Soma put it, tends to explode all the time.
Oh.
The ones with the translucent skin. The ones that always yell about drinking your blood and
Oh,
breaking your bones.
those other ones that explode all the time. I thought you meant the darklings or whatever.
Yeah.
No, okay, that makes sense.
No. Not the Caligny.
They explode too.
They do. And they are also around. So, but we have no quarrel with them. But Kerfel, she says, and like her voice becomes darker. Kerfel, it needs to be ended.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure that if our paths cross, none of us would have a choice in the matter.
Yeah. So far, most of those people try to kill and break our bones and drink our blood. So if we ever come across this guy with a sword, we'll bring you his sword.
The Erdefons and their strange idea of serving their demonic lords that have no room for diplomacy or alliances. They know only death and destruction. So I'm sure that if you meet Kerfel, you will either have to kill them or he will kill you. So I'll hope it will be the former. And just remember to grab his sword and bring it to me. It would give me a great deal of satisfaction. Oops.
And he's nearby, or
Oh, the Erdefons are hiding in their stronghold to the west. I'm sure you'll run into some of their war parties as you're exploring the hunting grounds. And that since they are the ones that ambushed my father and my sister, I'm sure that they still lurk around the lake.
Wait, how long ago did they ambush and kill your father and sister?
Let me think.
Is this like a recent thing? If
No,
they're still there?
a few years ago. But
Oh, okay.
things move slowly down here.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But, she says, and then lightens up a little bit, I most appreciate your willingness to help us with this. We really haven't been able to make much movement either way. It's been a bit of a stalemate down here. And if the prophecies of the twins are true, then you shall make the difference here. I am very excited about that, and you have our full support. Grab what you need, and I hope that I'll see you soon with Kerfel's sword in hand. And let's take a quick 5-minute break, and then we can pick it up.
Okay.
I'll try to remember that I can craft talismans now, so I'll see what I can make for the day.
Okay, I'm back.
I've I've decided to remember that I can craft talismans now, so Somo will, after we wake up and do our morning preparations, she will make 2 dragon turtle scales and slap them on Sir Ottardo and Sandy. So just in case if we have to dive into the lake.
You can craft talismans?
Well, yeah. Where is it? One second. I will drop it in. It's my archetype.
Talisman dabbler. This training might have occurred in formal classroom, but I'm accumulating picked up over time. You can craft talisman and know the formulas for all common talisman of your level or lower. Don't need a formula book for them. You carry a vast collection of magical baubles, and you can turn into temporary talismans. That's cool.
Awesome.
That really makes talismans more interesting because it's easier to get them.
Well, yeah, it's just they're situational, so there's hard to hard to foresee where they might be needed. Because I mean, I was going to use the medical ones, but well,
You're like Mary Poppins.
yes.
Exactly like her. All right, everybody back?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So, you've made the decision to help out. Let me figure out where to go, where they would lead you. So I would assume that you want to be pointed in the direction of the Great Lake
Oh
that
yeah.
they were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on here. Um, okay. Okay, so let me grab you here and put you in a spot. It's really difficult to point you where I want you because when I click your token, I can't see the map anymore.
So they want us to go kill a guy, huh? I'm in a wall.
And take a sword.
This is Tick and Bark. Okay, so here we are. All right, so the drow lead you back the way you came, but instead of leading you north to where that spiraling tunnel would eventually lead you up to the level above, instead they lead you south towards that that just what looked like just a pile of rubble. But once again, the rubble turns out to be a very cleverly hidden secret door that they open for you to reveal another mushroom infested cavern. Um, there are crystal growths and stalactites all over the cavern, and a pattering drizzle dripping from these formations. And you can see a path that winds through the thick fungus that's growing on the ground. As you're getting ready to step out there, the drow warden that is accompanying you says, "Make haste through the next chamber. Our lizards are roaming these caverns, and they do not take kindly to non-drow. Also, in the next cavern, stay clear of the fog. There's great evil lurking within." Have a nice day.
Oh, you mean there?
So what do? You step on out into the cavern, and what do? Describe how you're moving through it. Are you going to heed the warning, or are you going to explore it?
Do we see the fog first of all?
In this cavern, you don't see a fog. He was talking about the next one. So this is the
Okay.
one where the lizards run free.
Okay, well, I guess we can just. Have we been given directions towards the?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, to the west and then north.
West and then north. Okay.
I can't find
well,
that place.
That's right.
I mean, are we really that concerned about some lizards? Surely we can.
Nah.
They're just lizards.
So you need to tell me how you're moving through this cavern, because it sounds like some of you are concerned about it, some of you are not. Are you going to explore the cavern? Are you going to rush through it?
Someone
am
will,
here.
someone will suggest to not touch the lizards just out of respect for our new allies.
I am searching or seeking, or whichever of the two it is.
Okay.
Sandy's definitely unconcerned, but exploring.
Okay.
But
Then I think you can give me a basic action exploration roll. Or actually, it's not an exploration, it's just a regular seek.
It's search. That's what it's called.
Oh, it is search. Well, search is the activity, but you roll a seek check.
You seek when you search, yes.
You seek when you search.
Seek. Oh, that doesn't actually roll it, does it?
Yeah.
It's just a perception. Just make a perception check. Okay, fine.
Yeah, but if you go through the basic action macros, it should be a private roll. And I think it'll give me a little more context.
Someone will keep detecting magic then.
All right. Well, Sandy, you don't know what they were talking about. You're looking for like little lizards that should be scurrying up those fungus trees, maybe, or you check out the stalactites, if maybe there are like little lizards anywhere. But Bark, you like peer into the cavern, and you see between those big mushrooms, you see a few lizards the size of horses, stealthily moving around, and they have these like frills around their neck. They're currently folded in, so they're not being aggressive right now, but they're they're kind of in the way back of the cavern, so they're keeping their distance right now.
See some lizards over there. They're a little bigger than
I
most
haven't
of the
seen
lizards
any.
I know. There, right? Don't you see them? Right there.
Oh, yeah, those look like horses. I think we're looking for lizards.
No. Those are lizards the size of horses.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe we do keep moving.
Okay, and as you move into the next cavern, the fungus growth thins in this cavern and gives way to barren rock and rubble. And amid the dull gray stone, you can see a strange cloud of thick grayish black fog hugging the ground. And it's getting thicker and thicker towards the south of this cavern. And to the north, it seems to continue, just like the other cavern that you just came out of.
Well, we've been told to go north, so
Yep.
So you ignore the strange fog.
I mean, maybe we'll come back later.
Okay, and we can wait here. I'm gonna go to the next map, because they split up this map into multiple parts because it's just too big otherwise. But I don't know exactly where we are right now. It's so dark. Sorry, I have to orient myself here. I don't understand exactly how they broke this up. Okay, I have it. All right. Just need to put your tokens on, and then I can bring you here. You move further north into a large cavern where the fungus grows wild and tall, and you can see it in big patches. It's an enormous cavern. Some of these fungi reach as high as 30 feet, and the cavern ceiling, where you can even see it through the fungal canopy, is even higher than that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, this place is big.
Yeah.
it is big indeed.
The tower thingies are rock?
The tower thingies are rock? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
So the big, there's like pillars in the middle of the map that block.
Yeah,
Outside.
those are rock walls, basically.
Okay.
But they
Well,
don't appear to be man-made like the other ones, right?
No, they appear to be
Okay.
part of the cavern wall.
are we officially in the Darklands?
It very much looks like it. Okay, hang on here. So, as you step into this area, let me move you back a little bit. As you step into this area and take it all in, you know, that bioluminescence illuminates vast parts of this chamber. And I'll say that the dimensions here, as we traverse these maps, you have to like it's a little bit condensed how we see it here. So the individual scenes should be further apart. It's just for convenience that we have kind of like condensed here. So it's not like everything is right next to each other. So you travel north for a little bit through this cavern here into this vast area, and as you take it in, that greenish and blue light that comes from the various bioluminescent plants starts to almost flicker, and the air takes another takes on another quality that you have noticed before. Hang on here, trying to find the right thing. Yeah. So the quality in the air seems to shift, and the air itself seems to take on a certain amount of weight, and then you hear her wailing in the distance, and her wail echoes through the cavern multiple times, and seems to be getting louder each time you hear it. I'll give you a round to prepare, but you know she's coming.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Who's that? What's that?
I don't like that.
She like Belcora?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh boy.
Wait a
So, like
second.
I said, you have a round to prepare, so you might want to use those actions now.
Yeah, Sandy's gonna rage.
Wait a second. I just realized I have a Jaws attack. Give me that lens.
Quick, invest!
No, it's okay.
Quick invest. It's like bye.
Spell. Let me cast a spell. Figure out what spells to cast. Yeah. I'll just Bark will just say, "Stay close," and I'll cast a protector tree.
All right, and all the while, more wailing, more screams, going louder and louder. as she seems to be coming closer and closer. And then finally, she starts to manifest right over here. And you can see her, she's like jumping between and bouncing back and forth between those giant fungi trees. And she screams as she does so. You can see that she's angry at you. And she shouldn't be barely injured. She should be at full health at this point. Hang on. And she hovers high amongst the top of these trees, just under the canopy. And she yells down at you and she says, "You want to break my alliances that I have carefully fostered over many, many decades and centuries. You will not interrupt my plans any further. I went easy on you the first times we met. I will not make that mistake again." And let's see if you can beat her.
Guys, everyone, please drag Inspire Defense on yourself for 3 rounds. It's lingering now.
Okay. Let's see. We'll roll initiative here. And not surprised, she's gonna get the first move. Okay. We will start. Okay, so as I said, she yells out at you. She said, "I will not make that mistake again." And then from high up amongst the tops of the mushrooms, she casts a spell, and oily black tentacles rise up from the ground below, and they will attempt to capture all of you. So I make a spell attack roll against the fortitude DC of each creature in the area. So I'm going to make that spell attack roll, and you're going to have to compare it to your fortitude DC. I'm pretty sure
boy.
that beat all of them. So
Wow.
you all
Mm.
grabbed.
Yeah, that's a crit actually, if it matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference in this case. Takes any creature you succeed against is grabbed and takes 3d6 bludgeoning. So I'm going to roll that damage once. So everyone takes 15.
Just out of curiosity, does this count as a strike?
It's a spell attack roll, so it's not a strike.
Okay.
Whenever a creature ends its turn in the area, the tentacles attempt to grab that creature if they haven't already, and they deal another blunted. The tentacles escape DC is equal to your spell DC. Okay, so that'll be that, and okay. A creature can attack a tentacle and attempt to release its grip. What we rolled away. Its AC is equal to your spell DC, and it's destroyed if it takes 12 or more damage. Even if destroyed, additional tentacles continue to grow in the area until the duration ends. Okay, so you can either try to break out against the DC using escape, or you can try to do enough damage attacking the tentacle against the AC. All right, so that's her turn.
Can we see the area where the spell is?
That's the point. I will just put it smack in the middle of you. There we go. And that's her turn. Bark.
So I'm grabbed and immobilized and off guard. And she's how far away? That's not what I wanted to do. Just wanted to measure 25 feet. Yeah. Birke is just gonna go ghost, and he's going to cast Vitality Lash at her.
Okay, let me figure out the height here. So she's currently 30 feet up. just for reference.
Okay. It has a 30-foot.
That works. Well, actually, it doesn't because she's also horizontally away from you, so it's a little out of reach.
Well, she's 25 feet and 30 feet up.
And you have 30-foot reach, so it's a little too far.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to perhaps attempt the same thing I did before. Is this all? Is this all one mushroom organism?
Well, there's a couple of large ones. Why? What do you want to do?
The what is it? Merge into plants or whatever it's called.
I would say like
Down.
each patch that we see here is essentially one organism.
Okay. Well, I don't think that'll help you too much. Then. Okay. Well, what is it to try and break out of the tentacle?
Either escape or the attacking the tentacle that you're dealing with.
Okay. I guess I'll attack the tentacle I'm dealing with.
Okay.
But I'm going to do that by casting Shillelagh.
Okay. It's a manipulate action, so you need a flat check here. All right, you made it.
Okay. And then I am going to try to Shillelagh the thing with my third action. Oh, it doesn't automatically give me a Shillelagh attack? Oh, it doesn't think I'm... I think this should have a +1 on it. Oh, it does. Weapon potency, okay. Wow, okay.
And you.
I don't even know what I attacked, to be honest. I think
That's
I attacked
okay, but-
myself.
Yeah, but it is a miss. It is a miss.
Okay.
You had targeted her, so that's not the worst target, but it's
Okay.
a miss.
Well, that's my turn.
Okay. Sandy.
Okay. Sandy.
Hang on, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
You're good.
Stick does get one free action when I
Okay.
don't give him commands, so I think he's going to try to escape just for kicks,
Yep.
which is
Let me give you the prompt. Well, actually, there is no prompt, but you should be able to use the escape action from your sheet or from the basic
mean,
action.
it's the NPC sheet, so it doesn't have all the same things on it.
Yeah, but if you select stick and then use a basic action, there's an escape macro there.
Oh, okay. Try that. Escape. Highest.
Whoa! Stick!
Oh,
No, wait a second. That's
Only a
because-
19. I don't
That's
know why
only
it's a
a
critical
19.
success.
Yeah,
Well,
because the
for sure.
target is weird here. No, unfortunately, stick does not manage to break out of the hold of that black tentacle.
Okay, now I'm done.
Okay, Sandy, you can end your turn, and it's Sandy.
Okay. Sandy is going to try and escape to begin with.
right.
So I just roll the escape.
Yep.
Oops. Why is it?
You escape. You actually
All right.
escape. You
All right.
just burst out of that tentacle and pop it.
you'll move.
essentially. Move. Yep, and you step
And
out of
she's-
the area.
And she's 25 feet up.
She is 30 feet up.
30 feet up. Okay. He is going to start climbing whatever she's on.
Okay, so you start climbing those mushrooms.
I don't
Yep.
think I have a. Do I have a climb speed? I think I just.
I don't think you have
Yeah.
the climb speed. So that's
It's athletics check. What is it?
Yeah, it's gonna be slow. So you can move up with one action. You can move how far? You attempt an athletics check to move a maximum distance of 5 feet up. You're off guard while climbing, unless you have a climb speed. Yeah,
I
so you
do.
can...
I do have this.
Oh, nice.
So I'm not off guard, but I don't think it helped me climb faster. Yeah.
And you can climb with a hand occupied. You must still use another hand and both legs to climb. All right, cool. So yeah, you can roll your athletics check here.
All right.
And that's a critical success, so you move 10 feet up.
I'm coming, ghost.
And you have an action left, I believe.
No,
you
because I escaped,
escaped.
moved.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, then you can end your turn, and it's Ottardo.
Trying to think here. Can Ottardo try to rip someone else out? Like, not escape himself, but
You can attack one of the other tentacles.
I guess that would be it. Yeah, okay, he'll do that. He'll
Yeah.
target the ones wrapped around Souma.
Okay.
Don't really have a target. Let's see.
That's a hit. And is that all you got? Can you squeeze another +2 out there somehow?
I think that's all, yeah.
All right, then unfortunately it is not enough to destroy it. But I'll say it's severely weakened its grip, so it'll be easier for someone to get out, even though that's not technically in the spell, but I think that's fair.
Does it have to be in one strike, or can it be attempted multiple times? The 12 damage.
I forgot. First of all, I forgot to add 2 points of damage for Bark, and Stick gets 5 points of damage because you didn't escape on your turn. Sorry, what were you saying, Sam?
So the 12 points to destroy the tentacle, does it have to be in one attack, or can it be across multiple?
Yeah, I think it can attack. Can take damage in multiple turns. It's not
Okay,
breaking it. It's really just delivering damage or dealing damage.
All right. Well, he will try again.
That's a miss.
Okay, and for his final action, he will raise his shield.
Okay, and you can end your turn, and Soma.
Okay, Soma will try to escape now. Well,
Okay.
I'll try to use the macros from the actions.
Nice.
So she'll try to use acrobatics since it's her highest. What does it say here? Yes, it automatically defaulted to the highest one, so it's acrobatics. Let's go.
25 is not enough to break free, even with the severely damaged state that the tentacle is in.
Well, at this point I don't really have much other options other than to continue trying to escape. It takes the multiple attack penalty, right?
Yes, it does have the attack trait. That's a failure. And another failure. Alright, that's your turn. And you take 3 points of damage as the tentacle continues to constrict. Well, I only take one of those. Great. Alright, that's your turn. Sandy, you are... What did I say? You're 10 feet up at this point?
Right.
So
yeah.
you're about 20 feet below her, and you're like hanging on with one hand you're hanging onto the mushroom, the other hand you're still wielding your weapon, and Belcora like floats down
Oh
effortlessly
boy.
to your level, and she's like hovering right next to you. And she looks you straight in the eye and like cocks her head a little bit. Her face just a mask of rage and anger, and she stares at you.
Oh boy.
Give me a will save. Ooh. That's a regular failure. You take 21 points of
Okay.
mental damage as her gaze just like corrupts your mind, basically sends your brain into a blender. That's what it feels like. And you are stupefied 1.
Okay.
And that was her turn.
Can I make a reactive strike?
It's not, she moved into your reach, and she didn't
Okay,
use
it's
anything.
not out. Okay. Got it.
It's not a spell. It's just an action
Got it.
for her. Okay. Bark.
Yeah, it's not great. I guess
I was already stupid. Don't worry.
I'll try to. So she came down.
Yes, she's now only 10 feet high. She's at the same level as Sandy.
I think she's technically still beyond my reach then, because she moved further away.
Yeah.
I guess I'll try to escape again.
Okay.
Try to escape. Nope, that was refocused. That's not what I meant to click. Escape.
That is exactly a success, and you manage to shake off or slip out of the grasp of that tentacle.
Okay. Is there any effect on, like, is it difficult terrain where the tentacles are, or?
I don't think it is.
Okay, in that
Nope.
case, Bark is gonna dive into the mushrooms here. Come on, there we go.
All right.
And he's gonna be like, "Stick, come on, get out of there!" And he's got one last action, which I guess he'll use to cast. Protect companion. On stick.
Okay. Sticks action.
Stick will have. Well, Stick will attempt to escape as well. And come on, where is it? Escape. I think Stick needs to roll a natural 20.
27 is not enough to break out.
I don't know why it keeps calling it a critical success. I don't know what it's comparing it to, but
It's comparing it to Belcora for some reason. I don't know why it has that low of a DC. It's not supposed to. But anyway, that's okay. And I think that's the end of your turn. Well, we need to roll for damage for Stick.
So I think Stick is still being protected by the rallying anthem, so he's good.
Okay. All right, then that's the end of your turn, and it's Sandy.
Okay. So Sandy can reach her. She's within reach.
Yeah, she's right next to you.
All right. Awesome. He is going to strike with his maul, and he's going to use a silencing strike if it manages to hit.
Ooh, that is a hit. Enemy must succeed at a 42 save. Succeeds.
All right. Here's the damage. It is ghost touch.
It is
and
ghost
zero
touch.
damage. Yeah.
Okay, so she yells as your weapon actually hurts her.
Stop looking at me like that! And then
I'm a married man. That's a miss.
Can't shove a ghost. What can he do here? Knows she's hard to hit. He's gonna he'll swing again. Yeah. He doesn't have a shield to raise or anything, so that's what he does.
And that's a miss. All right, I believe that's your turn, and it's Ottardo.
Yep.
Ottardo's not sure. I think Ottardo wants Souma out of there so that she can cast freely. So I think he'll try to strike the tentacle once more.
Nice.
Whoa. Okay, yeah. So that definitely frees Souma. For the moment, at least.
And then he is going to try to escape himself. There's going to be a -5 on this.
Ooh, but that's a 36, which is enough to slip out of the grasp of the tentacle.
All right, and then finally he is going to attempt. How do I do the counter thingy? Well, doesn't matter. He is going to move over here for his final action.
As he's running away, Barker's like, "Stick! You forgot stick!"
All right, and that's Souma.
Well, Souma is free now, so she will also run away from the giant tentacles. In some sort of a position that will put her in reach of her 30-foot spells. So, and from that point on, we'll finally start casting Vitality Lash on her.
All right.
There should be a module that does like the calculation, the Pythagoras thingy.
For how to yeah, that's true. All right, that's 27 points of damage that you inflict on her.
I think in most cases you generally no longer calculate the diagonal damages. I remember in Fantasy Grounds you had mods to do that, but in most cases people seem to just house rule to pick the greatest distance out of the two.
That doesn't make sense. If something is 50 feet away and 10 feet up, it's more than 50 feet away. The direct line. Anyway, that's your turn, I believe. And it's Belcora. Okay, Belcora is getting damaged here. Sandy has a weapon that can hurt her. Souma is lashing out with vitality. She does not like any of that. How can she do the most damage to all of you at once? With this. She hovers back a little bit, stays at this current level of elevation, and she looks at all of you and she yells out, "All of you shall be destroyed. I will crush you under the might of my army, just like I will crush Absalom and all of its inhabitants." And then she casts a spell and lets it burst right between you, so all of you are affected. Please give me a will save, everyone. That includes stick still.
That was a step, right? The hovering back.
What's that?
That was a step, right? The hovering back.
Yes, she does have perfect maneuverability.
Ugh.
24, that's a regular fail. And stick.
Oh, stick.
That's a success. Okay, so what happens is that all of you see a vision of Absalom like going up in flames, buildings collapsing, and for some reason you're there. Even if you've never been to Absalom, you somehow instinctively recognize it as the city that it is. And you see like towering buildings collapsing and coming down at you. We'll roll for damage here, and then I'll tell you how much each of you takes. So that's 43 points of damage, which is full damage. So Sandy, you take half.
Oops, I say half. Yep.
Ottardo, you take full. Souma, you take double.
Oh, and Soma's like, this is what killed my other character.
Bark, you take half, and Stick, you take. No, sorry, Bark, you take full, and Stick takes half.
Is the
hang on, I'm not done yet with this. On a critical failure, the creature must also succeed at a reflex save. So, Soma, you need to do a reflex save.
Soma, don't die.
That is another failure. So you feel trapped under the rubble of the building that just collapsed on top of you, and you are stunned for 1 minute. You can try a new will save at the end of your turn, so please remind me of that. And once you succeed, you disbelieve the illusion and you recover from the stunned condition. Alright. Anthony, you had a question about this?
Yeah, I was asking if lingering composition was still active.
I mean, she's not
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
I mean, it's Soma launched the spell. She is not playing, so it will stay online even though she's out of it.
Okay.
All right. Soma is almost down, and she looks like she's like grasping at thin air. She's trying to push. It looks like she's pushing something off, even though there's nothing there. And Bark, it's your turn.
Oof. Want to help Soma, but my main healing methodology is still stuck in the tentacles. So.
Well,
I guess
maybe you can start the turn with Stick trying.
I get. Is that how? Hang on, let me double check the independent wording. Okay, yeah. It just says if I don't give it a command, it gets one. It doesn't really matter because if I have it take that independent action, I can't command it later anyways. But
Yeah.
you know, we'll see if it gets out. Why not? We'll start off with that. It will make another attempt to escape, which I think it really does need to roll like a natural 20. It's just not doing it.
Escaping.
So I'm I already threw down the protector tree, unfortunately. I think I am just going to Vitality Lash for now. The second best thing is probably to drive Velcor away, so...
Okay, you need to... Oh no, you're no longer full grabbed. I'm going to remove that. Okay, and then she's going to try 40 to say if it's a success, so half damage.
That's not a great roll.
And she does not seem to be particularly vulnerable to it. Third action for Bark?
Not particular. Does that mean not Does she still seem like it affected her, or?
It does, yeah. It's just that
Okay.
you don't get that bonus damage that you often get.
Okay. Third action is gonna be. Jeez, I don't even know what to do in this case. I guess raise shield.
All right. Ottardo. No, sorry.
Uh,
Andy first.
So she moved back. Is there like, can I like Tarzan to the next part of the canopy to get closer to her, or?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a climb check.
Okay.
It's
An
such
athletics
a,
roll.
such a thick little forest of mushrooms that you can move horizontally along the trunks. So you're over there.
All right. If I make it there, I will swing with my second action.
Mm-hmm.
And so this takes the map, right? Because or it doesn't.
Nope. You only had to move.
Yeah,
so
that's right. That's right. Oh,
It's very close, but a miss.
yeah. I'll swing again. All right.
And that's a miss. Yeah. All right. That's your turn. Ottardo.
I guess Ottardo is going to move over here and then tap Souma.
Nice.
And that's his turn.
Okay. Soma.
Well, I can't really do anything, so I will just have to make the will save.
Wait, Wizu, why can't you do anything?
Because it says in the stun condition, if stun condition is 1
Yeah,
minute,
yeah.
or then I can't actually do anything. So
Wait, what? If you were... What?
Stun might also have a duration instead. Oh, but no, but I think you're stunned.
No,
one.
you're stunned 1 for 1 minute.
So you still have 2
Good
actions
present.
you can take.
Does it say stunned one? Because the spell description
Oh,
just
you're right.
said-
It does say you're stunned for 1 minute. It doesn't say
Yeah.
stunned 1.
Oh.
Whoa, wait. So that's new to me. So stun might have a duration, like stun for 1 minute, causing you to lose all your actions. Okay. Wow.
yeah. Because I mean, otherwise
Damn.
someone would have tried to like retrieve a
Right,
potion
right.
and drink it, because like she
Yeah.
would be believing that she's trapped, but she would
Right.
try to do at least something. But well,
Did you do your will save? No.
not yet.
Okay.
So I click on the same basic will save, right?
Yes.
Wow,
Okay.
that is rough.
Okay, and then
That's
it's
brutal, yeah.
Belcora's turn. She's done that. She's done this. She has done this. And yeah, she's going over here and she starts to cackle and laugh and she says, "Yes, yes, all of you shall be crushed." And she casts it again.
Can I make a swing at her that time? Sorry, I keep asking, but does
It's
that
a
provoke?
step. It's still a step.
Okay. Damn.
But it's good to check in, definitely. So another will save for everyone. Ooh.
Boy. Whew.
I might use my hero point on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Someone-
Oh no.
Someone
Oh
needs to roll
no.
two. Someone needs to roll 2 as she sees another building collapse on top of her.
Well, yeah. Do I actually need to make it? Because I mean, I'm stunned right now, right?
Yeah, but you can still take will saves. I
Take
mean,
damage. You can take damage from it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Well,
Ooh.
I guess it's about to time to meet Firas.
Oh.
Bad. So, yes, so Ottardo takes full, Sandy takes half, Bark takes double, Stick takes full, Soma takes
Oh
double.
no.
So as Bark goes down, Soma goes down, Stick goes down, Sandy, Ottardo, you hear her cackle as you're feeling that sense of just crushing despair wash over you, and she continues to cackle and taunt you, and says, "Yes, yes, crushed, all of you." And then with hysterical laughter, she disappears.
Oh boy.
And that's where we're gonna call it for the day.
All right.
Damn,
Bad.
two
At
back to
least no one
back.
died.
All right, who here hates Belcora? I actually love that about the adventure, because I feel like a lot of, especially adventure paths, make the mistake of never really introducing the main villain until the very end.
Yeah.
So I really like that she kind of like ramps up her attacks and becomes this really annoying recurring
Awesome.
threat.